My name is Jarrard. I'm the community lead for Bungie, which entails a whole lot of things, but most importantly, I'm responsible for the overall community for Bungie and Halo 2, which that includes a Bungie.net website, our Xbox Live matchmaking playlist, and I also dabble in stuff like PR and talking to other folks about Halo 2, including our franchise stuff, which is things like action figures, novels, strategy guides, those types of things. There were a couple different goals, so it wasn't about things we didn't get to. Like, all these maps were created from the ground up after Halo 2's release, so none of this stuff is like leftovers or things that we didn't quite get to finish. It's really a combination of factors. One, I think, if you look at a map like Turf, and we talked about this earlier, we have a game type called Territories, and Territories was a lot of fun, but it requires a very specific setting to work well. Much like you look at Zanzibar, and that map totally defined one flag, capture the flag. That's all that map was built for, and it was a great experience. We didn't have that for Territories. So we looked at, at our plans for making these new maps, and that was one of our goals was, let's make a map that plays really well with Territories, and that's how kind of that map got born. We also looked at things like large maps with vehicles, lots of vehicles. And when we shipped, we had Waterworks, we had Headlong, but we had Coagulation to some extent, but we didn't really have a gigantic, epic base-on-base, every vehicle in play map. And that was one of the main goals behind Coagulation. I mean, every map started with some basic idea, whether it be to support a specific game type, whether it be to support a specific game style, tons of vehicles, for example. We also, you look at the maps that are coming out, a lot of them tend to be kind of on the smaller side as well, because we wanted more small maps. Right. For people who don't have Xbox Live, who want to play split screen, those people are important to us as well. So you'll see a handful of these new maps are really, the sweet spot's about 4 players. And that was definitely one of our motivating factors. First and foremost, we didn't have this really gigantic beast of a game, with multiplayer being only one portion of it. We had the luxury of having the entire team only working on this multiplayer project. And I think, the maps are a result of that. You'll see artistically, design-wise, gameplay-wise, they all kind of raise the bar over what we had originally because we've just had more time to put into these maps. Also we didn't have this, we more or less kind of were able to dictate our own schedule and our own timeline, and we didn't have this date that we were all scared of that was rapidly approaching. So it was definitely more laid back. It was just more fun for everybody. It didn't take us 100-hour weeks, 7 days a week to make these maps. We did them in a schedule that didn't kill us. Right. Also, these maps served as sort of a learning process for the team. It was kind of a work in process post-mortem. Halo 2 was done. We got the game out the door. A lot of things went well, but a lot of things could have gone better. And we used this map process as sort of a way to redefine our production pipelines, the way we interact as a team between disciplines. It was a great sort of stepping stone before we really dive into our next full-blown project. Cheating's always been there, and it's there in other titles as well. I think what Halo 2 did is bring it to, it just magnified everything. Just the sheer scale and volume of people playing Halo 2. Maybe the percentage of cheaters is higher than it is in other games, but it just got magnified. When you have a million plus players all playing on Xbox Live, cheating becomes much more prominent. And the community is the Halo community is a very, very well-rooted community, and once word of one cheat hits the web, it just seems to spread very, very fast. And it didn't really surprise me. It kind of surprised me more about some of the things that people figured out how to do, like cloning their character by getting it out of a Warthog X number of times and using the elite model, and like all those like weird things like that. That surprised me personally, and some of our guys here. Obviously, those scenarios weren't encountered, and we didn't anticipate those things to happen. So people can still do bad things and create artificial lag and do things like that, which is inherent with any online gaming. But hitting standby as a tactic is not going to be nearly as effective or compelling as it was prior to the update. Other things, the sword flying multiplayer, we've changed the sword flying. A lot of people complain about that. They feel like it's their spirit of exploration. It's harmless. It's not harmless because if it's used for devious purposes, it allows you to get from point A to point B almost instantly. Right. And that's not the way the game's designed. We're going to keep managing our community, and we're going to keep monitoring people playing on live, We have this great thing called Bungie.net. We're already getting data downloads from every game that's played. And when people do things that are not within the realm of what's accepted, we know that. And we have data to say that, hey, this guy's manipulating our game. We're going to ban those people, and we're going to remove them from our community. So the auto update isn't the end-all, be-all,
Right.
but certainly it's going to reduce the majority of those cheats. And going forward, we have more teeth now to actually, when problems do arise, we can take those troublemakers and get them out of there faster. The gameplay changes kind of came about from our designers, and even when I first played them, my natural reaction is, oh, it's different, I don't like it. But it really grew on us all very fast, and we don't have any more opponents internally. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a more fun game to play. It's more balanced. But initially, sure, there were people who were just worried, and it's a big step, like you said. We didn't have to do this. On the downside, our biggest risk is we ruin our game, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and people really get mad at us. On the plus side, we do something we don't have to do. It makes our game even better. People have more fun playing, and our online experience becomes that much greater. The single weapon that is going to change the most is the brute shot, because the grenades that come out of it are more powerful, and the melee attacks that it does is more powerful. And even the brute shot specifically got a small little additional bump because, as somebody put it, after all, it's got this blade about this big on the end of it. I would expect it to hurt a little bit more than the SMG does. So the brute shot is the biggest change. Also, there's an instance where dual wielding magnums now there's actually a bug involved with that prior, where it was giving people too much of a headshot bonus and made dual magnums be overpowered, and that's actually been fixed now. So the gun hasn't been nerfed, but it'll actually behave appropriately when you dual wield it. All right, it's pretty exciting. We've been working on these maps and this update for a couple months now, so it's great to finally get these things out the door and give our fans what they've been waiting for, and actually be able to start playing these with our community. As far as what's next, now we can sort of start looking at the future and what is next for Bungie, and we don't have all those answers yet, but now it's really exciting for us. This is the point that's going to define the next 2 to 3 years for our studio. This is where we make those decisions and set that guideline for what we're all going to be doing for the foreseeable future, and that's what we're doing right now. And that part's exciting because initially the sky's the limit. It's all about creative, fun ideas and sort of building that roadmap.